Beautiful, durable, versatile, and plenty of variety. These are just a few reasons of why people have appreciated sapphires for centuries. And I have been studying gemstones for years, so whether you think you know a little bit about the gemstone or a lot, I believe I can teach you something. Stay with me. Hey everybody, it's your average jeweler again, and today we're talking sapphires, one of my personal favorite gemstones out there for many reasons that we're going to talk about today. If you're a September baby, congratulations on snagging an awesome gemstone. If you're new to my channel, please subscribe. As we all know, it doesn't cost you anything, but if you do, we can keep learning together. Let's get into sapphire. So let's talk some sapphire basics. You actually have, for those of you that like the science stuff, it's composed of aluminum and oxygen. It's an aluminum oxide, and with that said, you have some typical crystal habits as well. Sapphires, when they form naturally and they have their free environment, they're not trapped by anything, they're going to form in a typical crystal habit that's bipyramidal, or almost spindle-shaped, if you've ever thought about spindles. It doesn't always look like this. If something within its environment when it grew was constricting it, it's not going to be able to grow to that crystal habit. Or many times we don't find sapphires directly at their source where they grew, and they're going to look very different whether they've been washed away by water and rivers, or whether they've just naturally eroded for some other reason. They can look different after they've moved away from their primary source. Sapphire does have typical shapes that you'll see it in. If you see a large round sapphire, that's actually kind of unusual. Usually, because of the weight of the natural crystal and the shape of the natural crystal, you're more likely to see cushion-shaped cuts, where they're kind of rounded squares or sometimes a little rectangular, and maybe you'll see oval cuts. Those are some of the most common type of shapes that you'll see sapphire in, because they're trying to make the most use of the natural crystal. Sapphire color is pretty interesting. Usually sapphires are going to be blue. A very deep kind of sea, ocean blue is what they're commonly known for. But sapphires are in all different colors. Sapphires come in pinks, purples, oranges, yellows. They even come in clear and black. They actually are every color except for red. The red designation for the mineral corundum is in fact ruby. That's right, ruby and sapphire are the same mineral. I always thought that was pretty cool. Not everybody knows it. Maybe you did. Sapphire also has some interesting names for some of their more rare colors, like padparadscha. Yes, padparadscha is an interesting peachy pinkish color, and it's named after the lotus flower. Fun one to look into if you can find some. You're lucky. It can be a beautiful stone. Because some people appreciate the scientific aspects, I wanted just to take a moment and talk about where those colors come from. Colors actually come from what we call trace elements, and that means something outside of its typical chemical structure has gotten into the stone itself or the mineral, and usually it's elements of only about a percentage or sometimes even less, and it causes the color to change. These crystals would be completely clear if they were absent from what we call trace elements. So how do these work? Well, for one thing, the blue color that we typically think of is often caused by titanium and or iron. And your yellows and oranges, usually they're contributed from an element called manganese. And then you have your pinks, of course, into reds, which would then be ruby, but those are caused by chromium. Extra little fact of the day, chromium not only causes the beautiful red color of ruby and the pinks in sapphires, but it's known for some of the most beautiful green colors in the entire world. In fact, some of the best emeralds, the color is caused by chromium. That's right, green in emeralds and some stones like tourmaline even are going to be caused by the mineral chromium. Chromium causes not only the beautiful red colors, but greens as well. Hopefully just blew someone's mind. I always thought that was amazing. Now, sapphires are not limited to a single location where we find them. In fact, they're all over the world. There are some typical locations where they're known for being high quality sapphires, or the colors that people think of. Kashmir is a big name in the sapphire world. Some of the most beautiful sapphires have come from that region. But you also have Ceylon or Sri Lanka, you have Burma, and then you have other regions like Australia, you have India, you have Madagascar, and even in North America, regions like Montana have been known for some nice sapphires over the years. It's a gemstone that's found all over the world. So we're going to hit on some of the practical aspects of sapphire, and first and foremost, people usually talk about the hardness of sapphire. Sapphire is in fact the hardest mineral, I should say the hardest natural mineral, after diamond. Moissanite has a play in the conversation, although the jury's still out on moissanite in my opinion. But sapphire is the second hardest mineral known to diamond. Hardness relating to its scratch resistance, it means that you can see sapphires used in practical situations like watch crystals. My watch right here has a sapphire crystal. What does that mean? It means it's far less likely to get scratched. It serves a very practical purpose on top of being used within jewelry. And that makes sapphire a fantastic stone for hardware jewelry like rings. Rings get worn all the time and they get beat up. Sapphires are a great stone for that. They're incredibly tough, they're incredibly hard. Win-win. On top of being used in situations like watch crystals, as I mentioned, they can also be used as abrasives, they can be used in electronics. They have many practical and economical uses for sapphire other than the gemstone that we typically know and love. And remember, if you're learning something today, like the video so that others know there's something here for them. Now, if we didn't talk about treatments today, I feel like I'd be cheating you of something, because treatments are actually a large component of modern-day sapphires. In sapphire, it often means heat treatment, and heat treatment is a science all its own. In fact, depending on the type of heat treatment, they can make a stone lighter or darker, and it's really a very controlled science. It's not that they often just throw them into an oven and hope for the best, but heat treatment is a common way to improve the coloring of sapphires. Sometimes it just evens out the coloring. Other times, it actually will change the color completely. There are instances, depending on those trace elements we talked about, where sometimes you remove a certain trace element within the heating process, and it will change the color entirely. Heat treatment is a common treatment for sapphires. In fact, if it's not heat treated, I would expect whoever you buy it from to make a very big deal of it. And many times they even are accompanied with lab reports to substantiate that claim. Because most sapphires need to be heated in some way to make the color attractive for somebody wanting it. It's so common and so prevalent that, again, without heat treatment, most of us couldn't afford nice sapphires. There are some other treatments that are not accepted within the gem trade, and some of those are what we call diffusion treatment. That's actually one where they've introduced another element into the gemstone through what generally is a high heat process. And why this is not typically an acceptable treatment is it's not generally stable, and sometimes, like in blues, it's a surface treatment and it does not penetrate very deep. As soon as the stone is polished, or sometimes even just worked with a jeweler's torch or otherwise, you lose that beautiful color that you fell in love with. So diffusion treatment, not acceptable. Heat treatment, widely acceptable. Sapphires were one of the first lab-created synthetic gemstones. That means that they were able to synthesize the exact chemical structure of sapphires in a laboratory, and they're able to replicate that. This has been happening for well over 100 years now, so there are a lot of old pieces of jewelry that actually have synthetic sapphire in it. When I mentioned about sapphire being used in watch crystals, these are generally synthetic sapphires for many reasons, but ultimately it's a much more predictable process. Keep in mind, synthetic sapphires are not by nature bad. Unfortunately, many people try and pass them off as the genuine article, or sometimes it's such small, tiny print that you think you're getting a good deal on a natural sapphire when you're in fact buying a lab-created version. I imagine you already know that sapphires are a rare mineral. We talked about corundum being the actual mineral name, and it being both sapphire and ruby. Corundum can be found without trying too hard. However, only 1% of all of the mineral corundum found gets cut into gemstones. The rest of it is strictly used for your abrasives, for sometimes your electronics. They actually will use them as mineral jewels inside watches. They serve other purposes. My point being, the gemstones that you see made into jewelry only account for 1% of that mineral. And even a smaller percentage of that actually make it into jewelry stores. Many of them are what we call commercial quality, where the color is so dark it almost looks black, or so light it almost passes for clear, that these gemstones do not have the same rarity. And the colors that we think of as being the most desirable sapphires are a small, infantile percentage of that 1%. All that to just emphasize, gemstones have quite a rarity, and if you're curious how all of this relates to value, I do have another video that talks about that, so check it out when you have a chance. Now, there are some really interesting facts about sapphire outside of just the fun, what I feel is cool knowledge about the stone in general. One of those has to do with inclusions, things inside the gemstone that often make it look dirty or cloudy. They're imperfections. However, there are times when inclusions in a gemstone can actually make it more attractive. One instance of that is star sapphire. Star sapphire is an extremely desirable phenomenon, and it's caused by inclusions in the gemstone forming in a specific way and then cut to show what we call asterism. And that is light reflecting off of the domed cabochon, the type of cut that it is, and giving you this rare phenomenon that there's a star there. You can also find sapphires that are bicolor, meaning they show multiple colors in the same stone. And you can even find sapphires that are what we call color change. The most famous color change stone is alexandrite, but sapphires, in fact, can be color change gemstones. And that means that they're going to look different from incandescent light to daylight, because the elements within the stone are reacting to things like fluorescent light, and they make the color change. Again, it's a pretty incredible phenomenon, and if you haven't seen it yourself, you should go look for one. My question for you today actually has to do with how much you're learning, because a lot of people know of the name sapphire. I want to know how much you learned in this video. So let me know in the comments below, on a scale of 1 to 10, if you feel like you started at a 2 and moved all the way to a 6, if you feel like you started at a 5 and moved to a 7, whatever your knowledge was and now is after this video is over, I want to know, so let me know below in the comments. I now hope that more of you understand and appreciate sapphire. Again, for you September babies, congratulations. Awesome gemstone, one of my personal favorites. So versatile, so pretty, so much variety. I hope you enjoy it too. If you haven't subscribed, I hope that you'll click the subscribe button below and we can keep learning together, because after all, that's why we're here.